Let me be upfront. My motive for this video here today is to convince you that I can help you become a millionaire, a multimillionaire. And so I want you to concentrate on this chart that I've created. It's an Excel spreadsheet. And what it does is it shows you the performance of Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, NVIDIA, and Google over the last 20 years. And you can see those in yellow are the down years, those in the other colors are the up years. But what I want you to concentrate on is on the fourth column from the right. It says average. That's their average rate of return of these 5 stocks year by year. And then drop all the way down, and you'll see in black their average rate of return was 35.27%. That compares to the average rate of return of the S&P of 8.7%. A substantial difference, about a 4x. So what I then want you to look at is right to the green column, the bottom of the green column, and you're going to see that $6,000 invested into those 5 stocks every year since 2004 through 2024, your balance would be $4,181,000. Now that's because it's in a Roth IRA, it's tax-free. So if you had done that, you would have $4 million today of tax-free money that you could spend in your retirement. And in fact, you could take it out anytime you want it and fund your life. Now, can you so the question is, where do you get $6,000? Well, you save it. Rather than buy that F-150 and spend $600 to $800 a month, you keep the car you've got, the truck you've got, and you find $600 a month that you can put into your Roth IRA. Now, then, if you have a significant other, now you have the ability to double that and bring that up to $8,400,000 over 20 years. Now, am I saying these stocks will perform as they did? Well, let's ask the question, why did they perform the way they did the last 20 years? And I think we could agree upon it was because they were leaders in the digital revolution. And that was the biggest change in mankind, in the history of mankind, as the internet became a part of our life. Well, now we're entering into what we call, what I call, the AI revolution, which will be followed by the quantum computing revolution. But let's deal with the AI revolution because we're in the middle of that. And I would ask you, who are the key players in that element of the revolution? And I think you would have to agree it's Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, NVIDIA, and Google. You might come up with a couple others like Supermacro, and you could add to them. So, but I think if we started today, I think we could say, well, based on what I know today, I would say that, yeah, it'll duplicate itself, and it again will create a $4 million portfolio. Now, what I also got to understand is that $4 million in 20 years isn't going to be the same $4 million that we're talking about today. So I'm going to have to make some adjustments because quite honestly, in 20 years, I think we will have quantum computing. I think the elements of artificial intelligence are going to change our world dramatically, that my access to knowledge is going to be massive. Education is certainly going to change because I don't have to go to a university to acquire the knowledge of a professor standing in front of me to teach me. I can get that through my AI factory, which I will have. I'll probably spend in the next 2 years somewhere in the neighborhood of $35,000 to $50,000 to buy a computer that will sit right there that will duplicate the efforts of a data center as we know it today, but I'll have it in my possession so that I can interact with it and it can teach me anything I want to learn. And my choice of learning right now is that of investing, and that's what I want to share with you. So if I know these things are possible, and if I understand the math here, I can duplicate in the 4 million. I can possibly add to that 4 million by doing a little bit more research with the help of Samantha. That's what I'm going to call my AI factory. And what I've explained this before. What I'll basically do is I'll approach Samantha and say, Samantha, I want to focus on the semiconductor world and how it's going to bring us artificial intelligence. And then what are the software companies that are going to benefit from this and grow as a result of it? And who are the key players in there? And then as we move into quantum computing, I'll ask Samantha the same questions. And then what I'm probably going to say is, Samantha, give me a heads up on those emerging companies that are going to solve the problems that are a part of this digital AI revolution. And what might that be? Well, we're going to use a hell of a lot more electricity than we have in the past. So there's a problem. So how do we solve that? Well, I know that we're using silicone wafers in these semiconductors, and they do an adequate job with a CPU, but with a GPU, they're generating something in the neighborhood of an 8x amount of energy, which creates heat. Is there some company that is developing something that is going to reflect that heat or absorb that heat in a better way so as to not require as much electricity as the semiconductor would with silicone? I know of that company. It's called Navitas, and it's got a pretty good moat about it. So I might say, okay, with Navitas, maybe I could outachieve the 58% return that NVIDIA has given me over the past, which would lift this 35% average. Because what I know, because I've done the math, is if I can get that average up to 75, whoa, yes, 75 from 35. If I could get that average up to 75, that number, that 4 million, will turn into 1 billion. So that becomes my objective, and that becomes the objective that I put on my AI factory to help me find these stocks that are going to solve the problems that NVIDIA is creating for us right now. That's a different way to look at it. That what are the problems that NVIDIA is dealing with? What are the problems that Amazon, Google, and Apple are dealing with that some small emerging company is going to solve? And Samantha, you go through the internet and find those companies, and then I'll take a 2-hour walk on Thursday, and you and I, Samantha and I, will have a discussion. That's right. She's not going to read me a document. She will tell me what she learned, and then I will ask her a question. I don't understand that, Samantha. Explain that. Explain to me what Navitas is putting into this wafer and how it works, and who's their biggest competition, and what kind of patents do they have, and what do you, Samantha, project based on their financial status right now and the demand for this that you see in the future? What do you forecast their price to be in 2033? That's what's going to happen. And so when I say to you, all your part needs to be is, number one, find $6,000 a year that you can put into a Roth IRA. Understand, Google Roth IRA. I'm not going to go into it for you. Google Roth IRA so you understand it and what the possibilities are. And what you're going to learn is that's all you need. That's all you need to become a millionaire, a multimillionaire. That's all you, then you need to hook yourself up with somebody that has a Samantha that understands it, that can then inject into these 5 stocks 5 more that will bring this average from 35.27 up to 75.27. And then that 4 million turns into 1 billion. That's right. It's simple math and Samantha. That's all it takes. And you need to either muster up $50,000 to buy a Samantha, or you need to connect with someone who will share their Samantha with you. Okay? That's what getting on the bus is all about. Look, I'm 79 and 3/4 years old. I don't have 20 years. I don't think I'm going to break the century mark. But in that time I have left, I want to leave something behind. I want you to be able to say, Kerry helped me. If it weren't for Kerry, I wouldn't have this. My family would not have this financial security. That's my goal. I told you at the beginning of this video, I have a goal. I have an objective. And this chart that I want to share with you, you're just going to go into the description and it's going to say, Roth IRA chart, something of that, and you'll send me your email address and I'll send you a copy of this chart because I want you to understand it. This is critical. If you understand it and you believe it, if you believe $6,000 a year for 20 years can turn into 4.1 million, then the next leap you have to say is, can we get that 35 average rate, annual rate of return, 35%? Can we get it to 75? And then I want you to look over there and see what did NVIDIA give me in 2023? Well, it was 191. What did they give me in 2024? 144. Is that bigger than 75? Yes, it is. So it's possible. It's possible. If you know NVIDIA at the right time. What did NVIDIA give you in 2022? A -50. What did it give you in 2021? 125. 2020, a 122. And then 19, 76. From there, a negative number, we absorb it, but we still come up. If we take those, just the last 10 years, we're at 94.66%. So is that above our 75? Yeah. So is it possible? It's not only possible, it's probable. It is probable that with the right information, with Samantha helping us, who has all the knowledge in the world about investing, and all the articles that are being written right now, today, that are going to be distributed tomorrow, she has all that available to her. And I can access it. I don't care what the factory cost. If it can generate $1 billion today, and then I can update it year by year by year, I don't care what it costs. And you shouldn't care if it costs you $60 to gain access to it. And you can go on with your life accordingly. Okay, that's the invitation that I am offering you to join the tribe, to get on the bus, to be a part of the AI revolution, and then the quantum computing revolution. This isn't going to stop. No, we're not going to say, okay, that's enough. No, this is your opportunity. And I'm here to guide you. That's all I am. I'm a guide. I'm not your worker. I'm a guide. I did a live video on TikTok this morning. And I basically said, I want you, because I want to reach younger people. And I said, I need you to know who I am. I had a troubled childhood. Lost my mother at 5 years old. Stepmother, Cinderella story. It was ugly. But nonetheless, it taught me how to survive. It taught me how to connect the dots. On top of that, I'm dyslexic, so I barely made it out of grade school. And then I had to cheat my way through college. And that's why I have what is called a cheat sheet. That's part of my life. I have a learning disability. I'm dyslexic. I cannot compete with you on a scale of 1 to 1. I can't compete with you. I got to find a way to cheat. I got to find a way to use what I've got to beat you at what you've got. It's the only way I can succeed. But I've adapted. It's just like a blind kid. He adapts. And he can hear things you can't hear. That's what life is all about. That's what my life is all about. I want to share my few years of the future with you. In order to do that, you've got to take the next step. You can watch my videos and bleed as much as you can out of it, but you've got to have the guidance and you've got to have the inside information to make the move when the move is makeable. Okay, I'm Kerry Grinkmeyer. I'm a retired financial advisor, and I'm saving a seat on the bus for you. So get on the bus.